Welcome to What's in the Pot. I'm your host, Sean Grande, and today we're doing Trinidad Chinese style fried chicken in the air fryer. So don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. It's What's in the Pot. Thank you for tuning in to What's in the Pot. So we're going to start making our marinade for our fried chicken, and we're going to start with some of this garlic soy sauce. I'm going with 3 teaspoons of the garlic soy sauce I got from Caloo Box. A lot of these ingredients you actually get from Caloo Box, and I'm adding 2 teaspoons of ground ginger. Now you can use fresh ginger if you like. I like using the powdered ginger when I'm making a marinade. And 2 teaspoons of Chief Brand 5 Spice, 1 teaspoon of minced garlic, or you can use garlic cloves, about 2 cloves of garlic chopped up, and 1 teaspoon of this Chief Brand Chinese sauce. Now the Chinese sauce is very rich and very thick. It has a lot of strong flavors, very similar to like a dark mushroom soy sauce. We're also going to be adding 2 teaspoons. I'm using cane sugar. You can use any kind of sugar, just 2 teaspoons of sugar. Use whatever you have on hand. And I'm using half a teaspoon of this Chinese seasoning. This is Chief Brand Chinese seasoning, perfect for any kind of Trinidadian Chinese food that you're making. You can add this in fried rice or anything like that. I like adding it into my Chinese style chicken. And we're gonna mix these ingredients together. Once we mix everything in together, the final thing for our marinade is 1/4 cup of Chinese rice wine. Now if you don't have any Chinese rice wine, you can get it at your local grocery store, but also you can use something like a dry sherry. Go ahead and marinate that chicken. We're gonna make sure that every piece of that chicken gets covered with that marinade. I'm using half of a chicken, so I have the leg and thigh portion cut into one half and the breast cut into the other half, and just make sure you give that chicken a good rub. Rub all that marinade in. Now, once we've done that, we're gonna be popping it in a Ziploc bag, and then we're gonna be putting this in the fridge overnight. Now, the remainder of that marinade, we're going to be pouring that into the bag. Once you pour that into the bag, we're going to seal up that bag, give it a good seal, make sure you don't want any of them juices to drip out. Once that is sealed, you can go ahead and just kind of massage a little bit more of that marinade into the chicken. You know, make sure that all that seasoning, all that flavor gets worked into the chicken. So now we're going to start cooking our chicken. I preheated my air fryer and it preheats at 400 degrees for 5 minutes. Now what you want to do is you want to take the chicken out maybe about an hour before you start cooking it. Let it get to about a room temperature, and then we're going to be putting this into the air fryer basket with no oil or anything. This chicken's going to get nice and crispy. It's going to have a nice golden color. So one step you want to do to make sure that that chicken skin is nice and crispy, get a brush and just kind of brush off any of that extra liquid or any juices that's on the skin, so when the chicken goes into the air fryer, it's gonna get nice and crispy. Now my air fryer, the chicken setting is 380 degrees for 25 minutes, but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start it at 20 minutes because we're gonna be cooking this for 20 minutes, then we're taking it off and then cooking it again for another 5 minutes. So this is the chicken after 10 minutes. Now I'm gonna give it a flip and then cook it on the other side for another 10 minutes. Now let's go ahead and make our sauce. Now I have my wok on super high, and it's about a medium-high heat, and you put that marinade in there from the chicken, and it's gonna start bubbling up because we want it to come to a boil. We wanna cook off anything that may have been in there from the chicken because we did have raw chicken in that marinade. And now I added about a 1/4 cup of water, and we're just gonna give that a mix and bring that to another boil. I'm adding about a teaspoon of Hosein sauce and give that a mix, incorporate that into the sauce. Once that comes back to another boil, we're going to be adding about 2 teaspoons of this Swiss hot and spicy barbecue sauce. I love the flavor. It just reminds me of something that you'd be dipping wontons in, so I like to add it into my chicken sauce. And then we're at about a tablespoon of ketchup just to sweeten it up a little bit. Thing I like to add is 1 teaspoon of sesame oil. The sesame oil just brings out a nice flavor. It works well with all the other seasonings we have with our sauce. So this is our final product. Our chicken is done. So remember, we cooked this chicken for 25 minutes total time at 380 degrees in the air fryer. We did 10 minutes on each side. After the 20 minutes is up, I flipped it back and put it on the skin side up for another 5 minutes. I let it sit for a couple minutes, then I put it back in for another 5 minutes. Let's give it a cut and see how our chicken looks. You can see that it has that perfect color. It is juicy. There is no blood. It's cooked perfectly. You can always use a temperature probe to make sure your chicken is cooked. Cooking temperature should be about 165 degrees. You can see that skin is nice and crispy. That marinade is soaked into the chicken. That's the best part about soaking it overnight, because the marinade soaks right into the meat. Look how beautiful that breast looks. It's cooked perfectly. So thank you very much for tuning to What's in the Pot. I hope you like, share, and subscribe. Till next time, stay safe, stay blessed. Peace.